How's it going today, guys? So I'm Joker ZX6R. This is my 2025 ZX6R. I just got it, I think it has like 1,600 miles on it. Got it in earlier this year in May. I also bought the Impaktech crash cage. So why I'm making this video is because it doesn't really come with instructions specific to the 2025 or 2024 ZX6R. So I looked all over YouTube, couldn't find a video. First thing I should mention to you guys, so I painted these myself. That was a bad idea. I didn't want to spend the extra $100 to have it powder coated from Impaktech, but after all said and done, it's just an extra $100. Yes, you have to wait maybe another 5 days for your shipment, but if I could go back and do it, that's what I would do. There's definitely some imperfections. I don't really care because I know this cage is going to get scratched up pretty good. So for me, it's all right now, but if you have the choice, I would do that, because with the cost of paint and then the amount of time it took trying to create an environment to where it could paint well and the finish would have done well, especially in the heat of Arizona, wasn't going to happen. So just a recommendation, I would not get the raw steel. I would just have them powder coated, make your life a lot easier. So the first thing that kind of sucks, and I know a lot of people don't like this, but you have to cut your fairings. That's the only way this cage is going to go on a 2024 or a 2025. So what I did, if you come down here, this is one of the engine mounts, and this is the reason why you have to cut your fairings. Impaktech is smart in the aspect that they bolt it to the strongest parts of the bike. If there's other cages that they kind of manipulate how it goes on, I worry about how strong it is since it's not attached to the strongest part of the bike. So what's going to happen when you actually go down or drop the bike? So anyways, this is how I did my cut. I took a Dremel with the circular saw and just went through and cut out the whole part on this side. If you come over here on the same side, it's the same bolt, same area. I decided to just kind of cut out the shape on this one. I just felt like it would look a little bit better. And this was the first one I did, so I was much more patient. By the time I got to that side, I just wanted it done, but this fairing made it a little bit easier for me to do that. So now that we have the fairing cut, because that is the first step you're gonna have to get through, now what we're gonna do is we're gonna crack the back and the front engine mount bolts, but you're gonna need help. So give me 1 minute, I gotta get my assistant. Okay, so I realized, I wanted to just show you guys, I guess. I realized that I didn't fucking give you guys the full story. So this is the Dremel tool I used. It has settings and all that. I did it on the highest setting, but that's essentially what I used. Like I said, a little kind of skill saw. This probably wasn't the right thing to use, to be honest with you. But if you get a Dremel tool and have something similar to this, you could probably look up the correct head to use. But this is literally what I used for the full cut. I just went in and zit, and then kind of shaped it around. I used it in all directions kind of to create the shape of the circle. And then on the other side, like I said, I just basically went straight and straight to get the cut done. So just wanted to let you guys know this is the Dremel tool I used with this type of a bit. Again, maybe look into some better bits because I went through 2 just to do a small amount of plastic. So there you go.
This should be kind of staying in its hole, yeah? Yeah, in its hole.
All right, so now I've got this one loose. I left it on there just so I don't lose it, but it can be taken off now easily. So now you're not going to take that off yet. Just leave it where it's at because you're connected to the engine and the motor mounts, right? So if you pull this out and this, what's going to happen is your engine's going to drop. You're going to have a bad time. So instead, just leave it on. Don't do anything with that yet. So we're going to connect this part first, make sure that's there, and then we'll go to this. So next, I'm going to loosen this front one right here. So where we're at in the process now is that you can see that we've got this bolt removed completely. And we also took off this bolt, but as you can see, this is still in here. It goes back and forth. We're just gonna leave that there, so when we push it through, it's just all connected and no big deal. Or at least that's what I feel best about, so that's what we're gonna do. So now you have a longer and a shorter bolt. So the longer bolt's gonna have a shorter washer. The shorter bolt's gonna have a longer washer. That's how you're gonna tell the difference. We're on the right side of the vehicle right now, we're on the bike. So this is going to go through here. What we do is you're gonna take off the washer, you're gonna leave the nut and the bolt, and you're just gonna drop it through. So to note, this is a 17 millimeter, not a 14 now, so we're gonna be now putting it on with a 17 millimeter wrench. You'll probably need some assistance with this, but let's go ahead and just see if I can do it. Put the 17 on first, maybe. Gotta kind of line everything up. And I forgot the washer, so we're gonna pull that back out. There we go. All right, so I'm not going to tighten it all the way because I want to make sure I can line up the back first before we get there. So as you can see, I'm just kind of leaving it loose, letting it hang, and now I'm going to get the rear bolt to do the rear. Wait, hold on a second. All right, so now this is what you're going to do for the rear engine mount to go through this way. What you're going to do is take off the nut and the washer on the back. You'll leave this, and this is what's going to go through. So with this too, one thing to note, oh, it's back to a 14 millimeter on this end now. And as we pushed it through, it popped out what was in there. So now that this is through, I'm gonna kind of push it all the way in. So now you'll come around to the other side. As you can see, this is now popped through. We're gonna go ahead and put the washer on. And then start screwing this guy on. Now I'm going to have my assistant come hold this side, and we're going to tighten this up. But now that it's through, I don't think you really need to see that part, but she's just going to hold the side. I'm going to tighten it up. All right, guys, so one thing to note is, so we have the rear bolt that goes through, correct? Then we have this front that we tighten through. That's all great. One thing I forgot though, is there is a crossbar. Now, we could definitely go ahead and install it like this. I think this is a bad idea though. I think trying to get this in here, slip through is gonna be a nightmare. So instead, what we're gonna do is I'm actually gonna pull this back off, and it's just kind of a tip, take this off and feed it through the bottom. So what I'll do is I'll connect this to here so it's already done, so then I can just slide it through. So that's what we're gonna do now. So now we have the crossbar attached. So as you can see, kind of what I was saying is now this can just slide right through, and we can line this up to where we need. Boom. Actually kind of supports the crash cage a little bit too while you work on it, so that's actually kind of a bonus, I guess. So now, again, small washer bolt, take the washer off. Washer is going to go over here. And I probably should have dropped the bolt on it first, so let's just pull that out real quick. All right, let's go ahead and try that again. There we go.
So this one, the front one you're going to notice will catch, so we're doing the front first. And again, I'm not going to tighten it all the way up until I align the back. And this one goes 30 minutes, by the way. We'll definitely fast forward to this one.
All right, I don't have it fully tight, but I got it on there to where it's staying, right? That's with the 17. I then have to switch to the 14. And there we go. And then you'll hear that the bolt on the other side came out. That's what our partner assistant was holding. So there you go. Now that's out. You now have the long bolt all the way through, and you'll start tightening it. Oh, excuse me. On the other side, we're gonna wait because we have to put the other side of the crash cage on. So for now, we're just gonna focus on getting this a little bit tighter, and then we're gonna go to the other side and start the other side installation. All right, so now we're on the other side to install the opposite, or the left side, left side crash cage. So we're gonna go ahead and undo the main motor mount bolt. Got it. Oops, okay. We have that out. Now remember, as I said earlier, so now we're with the shorter bolt, longer washer. Take off the washer, make sure that there's no ridges. The other one had a little ridge I had to file off, so just make sure it's going to be even. This one is. Drop down. And now we're switching to the 17, which I left on the other side. Or did I? Where did I put the 17, baby?
Do you know? It's not on the ground.
So we're now switching to the 17 millimeter. Oh, actually, before we do that, it might be smart to undo the crossbar bolt, which I just wasn't paying attention to. You could tell I'm a true professional at videography, as well as a motorcycle repair mechanic. I don't even know what you call it, to be honest with you, but hey, we needed a video out there to show people how to do this, so we're doing it. All right, now that I got that bolt off, and be careful again, because the back isn't tightened yet. So you got to kind of maneuver this in, focus on this one, and then just make sure the back bolt's not going to come out on you. And I will need the washer. pretty much lining up correctly. I'm gonna go ahead and start tightening. I'm not gonna go all the way tight because again, we gotta line everything else up. So it's on, I think we're good there. Now let's go ahead, let's get this back one done, the secondary motor mount. Let's see. So we have the washer, the bolt. I believe we're going back to 14 millimeter. Yes, sir. So now for kind of a tricky part, I'm not sure how we're gonna get that back on there. Well, let's see if it just works. So the hard part is obviously this isn't gonna hold very well on there, but I think if we get it in here and just push it, hopefully it will line up. I know that's not a great way to do it, but what the fuck else are we gonna do with this? Always good to make sure your wrench is going in the right direction. All right, so we're just gonna try to see if we can get this thing to catch. Oh, another fun fact, somebody's gonna have to hold the other side so it can spin. So we're gonna go ahead and cut right here so we can get somebody else on the other side. So easier said than done. So we left it a little loose because I haven't done this first bolt. So everything's just mildly loose right now. Definitely easier said than done on the back spot. I had my assistant helping on the other side. What I found is it's pretty tight. So she had to put some pressure to push towards me, and I had to apply some pressure towards her. Part of it is because going down this long tube, the actual nut gets kind of pushed in the back, so you have to clear, you know, maybe about a ½ inch or an inch before it actually touches the bolt. So I think that was the main reason, but we got it tighter, so it's not fully tightened down, but it's close. And now I'm gonna switch, or no, I'm on the 14 millimeter. So now I'm gonna align the bottom crossbar right now. It's almost there, it's just slightly off. So all I'm gonna do is just give it a little, you know, use your man strength. Push it in a little. That's what he said. And then I'm just gonna align it. So this is all, I can see that the hole aligns with me just putting a little bit of pressure. I make sure my wash is on there. Oh, am I on the wrong way? There we go. Let's see if I'm missing the hole here. That's what she said. All right, so let me see if I can. You actually do have to get a little pressure, and you're gonna have to hold the pressure. I'm finding. There we go. All right. So now that I'm in, I'm just gonna screw it for a minute, you know. I think I'm in. Oh man, this always happens to me. There we go. Okay. So that's fairly tight. Now I wanna go back. I wanna make sure this is tight, then I'll come back and tighten this. Switch back to the 17. And what else I'm gonna do, because I'm assuming there's probably a spec here, right? Like torque to spec on motor mounts. So before I tighten this all down, I do have my torque wrenches. You guys should have one as well. I'm gonna look it up, so we'll stop the video before I finish this, and let me look up what this is supposed to be torqued to before we make a mistake and over torque something or do something stupid. So give us 1 second. All right, so I found out that on the engine mount bolts that go through the frame, it's gonna be 33 Nm, or excuse me, 33 pounds of torque or 45 Nm. So I've got my torque wrench set to that. It shouldn't be spinning the other side at this point, so I don't know why it's taking so long. Apparently it's a longer bolt than I thought. Unless the other side does need to be held. So, in that case, I would have somebody else hold the other side while you tighten it fully. Go ahead and stop. All right, so we got that one fully tight, main engine mount bolt. And for some reason, I thought maybe the other side had to be held. It just takes a really long time to get that one done. I'm also super impatient. And so now we have the gorgeous assistant holding this down for us. Because again, this one's the, I don't know what the fuck you call that, like open threaded both sides. So you have to have somebody hold that side. Again, now we're back to the 14 millimeter. So now I'm gonna go ahead and tighten the second engine mount on the rear. That one you torque to 49 Nm or 36 foot-pounds. So that's what we're gonna do right now.
Fine.
All right, so now we've tightened everything up. Everything's nice and solid on here. There's only, so we, going back over it, got the main engine mount bolt done. Tightened this, needed somebody on the other side of this one, not on this one. Had to tighten them to spec, and also the bottom crossbar. Now we're at the part of the project that I like to call the easy part. Because in every project, there's always the easiest fucking part. We're at that part right now. So we've got these pucks, and then self-drilling screws. It already has a pre-drilled hole. So you're just gonna go through here, line it up with the pre-drilled hole. And I mean, I don't really suggest using a drill, but I'm going to for speed. And frankly, doing this video in a helmet fucking sucks. This is a bad idea, but I committed to the game. So now we got that in, just push in. I'm gonna go kind of slow. Boom. It's nice when you have an impact drill that tells you when you've done enough. Got that. There's 4 of these. Goddamn, find the hole. I've been having a hard time finding the hole today. Hopefully my assistant doesn't mind. AKA my wife, by the way. This isn't a sexual harassment workplace thing. She's my wife. That one feels a little loose, so I'm gonna tighten this up a little. Okay, that didn't do much. Is my impact drill not working for me? There we go. That feels a lot better. I'm actually gonna retighten this one a little bit. There we go. And now we're down to the final 2. So we'll head over to the other side and repeat. That one was over tightened. I forgot to put it back in the proper mode, but shit happens. And there you have it, guys. The Impaktech crash cage. This works for 2024 or 2025. Really hope this video helped. I'll probably do a short video after this now that we're done with the project, just going over Impaktech, what the project was, anything you guys need to know, and I'll also put links at the bottom to anything I used or sizing of whatever tools, whatever you guys need. But yeah, appreciate